Hey everybody, welcome to the tezos-artcast. This is repetition number 30. So that's crazy. I can't believe there's 30 of these going down. On the tezos-artcast, we talk to different artists, gaming designers, musicians who are incorporating cryptocurrency and specifically NFTs on Tezos into their work, and getting to know the artists who are doing all this and the community surrounding it. And I'm excited to be here and get started. NFT Raider in the chat, who missed you last week. Bflow NFT Crypto, what's up? Spoo, I'm welcome for being here. You're welcome for being here. Yes, thank you. And thank you. Double thank you for being here. Yeah, I hope everybody's week's been good. It's been unusually hot, even though it's definitely winter in Vegas, but it's very dry, and we got a little warm front. Bflow, Rose is one of my favorites. He says, yes, so cool, such cool stuff. So let's just get into it, because I know we have a little later show today to accompany the time change, and I know Rose has a busy schedule, so you all know why we're here, and we've got the images up. Very recognizable style, so we're very, very excited to welcome Rose to the stream. Rose, hello.
Hi, how's it going?
Good. There's no echo.
Oh, good. Yeah,
That's
I got
perfect.
my headphones in this one.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for waking up early and joining us.
You know, the time difference stuff confuses me so much. It's actually not that bad.
Oh, good.
Yeah, it's 9 a.m.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, good. And I was worried too, because we just had the fall back, so all of our clocks reset in some of the states.
What got confusing, yeah. And when I Googled it, it came up as 8 a.m., but when I went to an actual site with the conversion, it's 9 a.m. So Google's wrong.
Google is very wrong, right? And you've got your partner there, I see.
Oh, yeah. Got our new kitten.
Oh, yeah. Super cute.
Yeah.
Mine's wandering around here somewhere.
Oh, really?
Where she is. Yeah, I've got this room is kind of a cat room, and then we've got some big dogs in the rest of the house that kind of roam. But this is her lair.
Yeah. A quiet space.
Exactly. Well, yeah. Well, thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to have you on. We were hoping to have you on earlier, but some things happened, and now we're here. So this is new for me too. This time of day. I mean, it's like 2:00 in the afternoon. It's not. So I'm still having coffee. Normally I wouldn't be, but I'm in the mood today.
Do you normally do them in the evening?
No, actually earlier.
Oh, okay.
Usually I do about 10 a.m. my time, so we're about 4 hours later than usual. Yeah. But it's just weird. I've gotten so into the zone of like, okay, 10 a.m. I'm ready to go. Yeah. Today was nice, actually. It was kind of mellow. So
you get to relax while you wait.
yeah, it was good. So before we talk about your artwork, which is phenomenal, I wanted to get a little bit of kind of background on who you are and where you're from.
Sure.
Yeah. So what's your story?
Well, I'm from the Blue Mountains, which is a couple of hours outside of Sydney in Australia.
Okay. Yeah.
It's very beautiful, bushy place, and growing up, I hated it. It's very boring, right. You know, like it's quite small town. Everyone knows everyone. Everyone dates everyone. Like,
right.
Yeah. So I escaped to the city as soon as I could and traveled around. And I actually mostly worked in backpacker hostels, my working adult life,
Okay.
Which was a lot of fun. And then I had kids. The first one 7 years ago.
Okay. Yeah.
Trying to remember.
Right.
Yeah, and so I've been at home and just searching for creative outlets. I've always been very creative, and yeah, just have spent the last 7 years doing various creative projects, trying to find my thing. And then I randomly found felt a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Right. And
there it is.
yeah, these pieces are so cool. And I'm curious like how they're made and everything. But when you were doing this search, like have you like were you drawing at a young age and like crafting, or have you always kind of dabbled in a bunch of different things before you came to felt?
Just a bunch of different things. Like, to be honest, one of my most creative outlets was cooking and baking. So I would make a lot of cakes and decorating. And so I actually did that for a business for a while, which like, it was really great. It feels very artistic to, kind of, I use the same process. I would plan out a cake. I would draw pictures of it. And yeah, always dabbled in a bit of writing, but I don't think I'll ever publish that. That's just like fun.
Right.
Yeah. And just everything, just drawing and lots of photography. I've always taken photos. Which my daughter's now into, which is really cool.
I got that. I've got the tab pulled up and ready to share because I saw that in your links. I think it's so cool to see parents passing on or seeing that, getting inspired by what your kids are doing, or just being able to share that. It's got to be pretty special.
Yeah, it's really nice. And like, well, because when I started minting artworks, and I would talk to her, try and explain like blockchain and Tezos and stuff like that, I thought the easiest way would be to just show her and do it with her.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Like 15 Tezos or something.
Nice. Yes.
She comes up, she says, "How many Tezos have I got today, Mom?"
Oh my gosh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
The future is now. That's great.
Yeah, exactly. Like, if I can arm her with this knowledge, she's going to be set,
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you stumble upon crypto and NFTs and everything?
Well, my partner's been into crypto for a couple of years, and I've just been creating art, kind of like I was creating all my felt works kind of for fun, like just as a creative outlet. Like, I wasn't really planning to do that much with them, because like the idea of going around to galleries and stuff just freaks me out.
Right.
So yeah, Mike was really into crypto, and of course we'd heard about NFTs a bit, but he's actually an artist as well. He does like pencil portraits and stuff. So neither of us were like super interested. And then the Beeple sale happened, and I think that's when a lot of people's ears pricked up, like, what?
Yeah.
So I don't know what I just like searched. I Google searched. The first site that came up was Rareable.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I had kind of a backlog of quite a few artworks that I'd just been making and playing around with. So I thought, I'll mint one on Rareable. It cost like $90, which was a huge amount for us at the time. And it minted with like a broken image.
Oh.
So there was nothing there. And it was actually a really good first experience because it made me realize, like, there's no customer service in crypto. There's no refunds. There's no, like,
it's all final.
I'm actually really grateful for that first image. It still shows up on my OpenSea because I burnt it, but it's like still there.
Right.
And so I actually was like, no, screw it. Like, the NFTs are stupid and it's just going to be a waste of money and I'm not doing it. And I left it for quite a few months. And I can't really remember I think it was actually my mom.
Really?
Like, give it another shot. Just try.
Yeah.
And so I took over her Twitter account, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
In Cloudlands.
Yeah, actually, that was her handle. I just didn't change it.
Well, it's a good handle. I think
where we live gets really, really misty, and so it's like you can't see. You're just in the clouds all the time. So yeah, it suits us both.
That's interesting because I think I mean, maybe I'm now completely biased, but I'm going to say that it matches your work.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's like a definite parallel there. So.
Yeah, I've actually thought about changing it a few times and then been like, no, I like it. It works.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's memorable.
Right. Man, so as somebody who was coming into crypto and NFTs, what were some of the challenges like that you experienced? Like, first of all, like were there some components of it that were hard to grasp at first, or how was the transition from like, oh, like, okay, I've got my everyday thing going, and then now like I'm selling art on the blockchain? Like,
well, it was, I think the hardest thing to grasp has not necessarily been about crypto and the blockchain, but just my lifestyle. Like, not really, like, I've had casual jobs, managing social media and doing random things, selling vintage clothes, like over the years, as I've said, since becoming a parent, just doing different stuff, but I haven't had anything that really takes my time up. Yeah. And this really does, in the best way. Like, I feel really fulfilled and really have purpose in this, but it's been a huge adjustment. Yeah. But the whole thing, like, I feel really lucky that my partner was into crypto because I really came into it with that kind of critical mindset, I think is the best way to say it. Like, just not super trusting. And I see a lot of people getting scammed, and I think that's one of my biggest things. I'd love there to be more info out there of just like how to really properly research things. And yeah,
I felt like even when I started collecting and we had started doing these interviews and stuff, right before our interviews, we did just a couple of live streams where we were just browsing through Hicket Nunk and, like picking up things as we go. Yeah. And I recently went back and checked into some of those pieces to try and track down the artists so I could talk to them, because I'm trying to, like, I want to pull those people out of out of the past, because everything moves so fast. It's like I got to remember these people, and I mean, I had at least out of like 30 or 40 different pieces, I had at least 4 or 5 that had been red flagged, and the accounts were suspended. And I was like, man, like even at that point, I kind of felt like, oh, I know what I'm doing. I'm, but you kind of learn to like try and track somebody down to see, before you hit that buy button. And
it's hard with Hen though, because like that collect button is so addictive. It's so easy to just, you see it on Twitter. Oh my God, I have to have it. And you just go straight to that page, collect, done. Yeah. I can't say that I'm very good at doing the proper looking into someone, but I only have one scam scam one in my collection, which I think is crazy. I think it's because I pretty much collect off Twitter.
Yeah, that would definitely help too, because you've already kind of got those connections.
Yeah.
I had some of the front end interfaces like hic.af and hennext are helpful for people who are kind of just starting out and getting into it, because it's a little more familiar.
Yeah.
But I think when I first looked at I think it was hic.af, it was like, freshly minted stuff popping up, and I saw one of the John windows come up, and it was like a limited 20 edition thing for 10 tes or something, and I'm like, what is did I just happen to like log on at the right time? And I didn't notice that there was an extra J in the profile.
Of course you wouldn't notice.
And I clicked that, picked it up, and then within 5 minutes, I looked a little bit more into it, and I'm like, oh no, what have I done? Popped into a couple of Discord chats, like, hey, don't get scammed like I just did, I'm like, it happens to all of us at some point, it seems like.
Yeah, it does, definitely. I think that the max capacities DOS punks, that was pretty crazy. There was new ones popping up every 5 minutes.
Right.
And I think a lot of people got scammed, which, it sucks because 510 Tezos, it's not nothing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when it was.
right. I got $10, whatever.
It's not.
Yeah, I think, like you said, that collect button, I definitely switched off whatever dollar equivalent was there, and I'm like, oh, it's like a Tez, it's like 10 Tez, it's like, and then I saw my Tezos wallet shrinking, like, wait, okay, I gotta hold on to some of this.
Yeah, I try and transfer mine out now because I will spend it.
Yeah.
So it just, as soon as I make it, I transfer a little bit out at least.
Yeah, exactly. So you got into it through your partner. We should definitely have more resources for people who are coming into the space to help prepare them for, like you said, just some of the more common scams that are going around, and just kind of arm people with that knowledge. But I think, have you met a lot of people since you started minting that you don't think you would have met otherwise?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely probably the highlight of the whole experience, and it's really nice because for me it's reminiscent of traveling and working in backpack hostels and making all these international friends.
Right.
But it's even better because you're making friends with people that maybe didn't have the resources to travel.
Sure.
So I think it's just such a wider pool of people, and it's incredible. I've made amazing friends from this, and people I know for sure I'll meet up with. So it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be excited for some, to feel safe traveling again and be able to visit some people, because there's already a lot of places that I wanted to go, but there's a few people that I've met where I'm like, oh, I gotta go have a beer with this person, or meet up at a coffee shop with this person, or whatever.
Well, there's not that many Australians in the hen community, and the few that I'm friends with, they're all in Victoria, which is 12 hours away. So at some stage I will go and meet them, but it's annoying that they're not down the street.
Right. I think I don't know anyone minting on Tezos in Vegas yet. Well, actually, that's not true. I do have one or two people that have, but mostly the community is really small and spread out. But
we
I
just
figure
need to go to Brazil. That's what.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
Everybody meets in Brazil.
Yeah.
That's it.
Definitely.
So can you tell me, so when you got into felt, the felt work, I've tried my hand at like one felt project not too long ago. And it was really interesting how I don't know. I can wrap my head around the animals, like, kind of filling animals out and
oh, okay, like 3D felt.
3D felt, yeah.
I thought you meant sheep. I was like, yep.
I can wrap my head around sheep being real, but I'm so. What made you start working with felt? How did you come across
excuse me. I don't actually really remember. I think that my daughter had started at like preschool, and she was just at the age where I thought it would be nice to start doing some kind of crafty activities together when she was home, like more kind of quality time because she was away from the home a bit more. And I think I was browsing like Marketplace on Facebook.
Yeah.
And someone was selling like this huge bag of wool roving, and I had no idea what it was, and so I quickly like Googled what do you do with wool roving, and it showed needle felting, which I don't know why I thought was a good idea to do with a 4-year-old.
Right.
Because it's like, that crazy barbed needle. It's like
right.
It's like from horror movies. It's yeah. But anyway, so I bought that huge bag of felt, and then I just went on eBay and got like a few needles, and a few flat pieces of felt, and my daughter showed absolutely zero interest in it, and she since enjoys it. But yeah, so I was like, okay, I've got all this stuff. Maybe I'll try and make some stuff. And so I started making things mainly for the kids. I'd make like little crowns for them. And this was all with like needle felting. And so within a month or two, like I was making really intricate patterns, which was fun, but I just, not really my style. And I can't even remember. I guess I just had so much wool roving. I was just looking up like, what do you do with it? And so I watched a few YouTube tutorials on how to do wet felting, which is all of my work here mainly, except for like eggplants, and a John tribute window I did. They were both needle felting. Right. Other than that, I only do wet felting really. Like it was all just really kind of random and by chance, and I think just like one of those things I was just meant to be doing. It found me, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Luckily, my daughter wasn't interested, or she might have used it all.
Oh yeah, really. Yeah. So can you, without giving away all of your secrets, can you kind of walk us through like just some of like the process? I mean, for people who maybe aren't familiar with felting, and then there's definitely more going on here than just a simple felt pattern. So.
Well, I've got a bit of an echo now. So wet felting, I'm sure most people aren't really familiar with it, but you have, I should have got some, you know what, I'm just going to take you with me.
Hey.
I'm on my phone.
Perfect.
And try not to look at my messy house. I chose the cleanest spot in it. This is what happens when you have 2 children and
right.
Suddenly working all the time. All right. So there we go. So the wet felting process starts with this wool roving, which is just basically sheep's wool. Like I use merino wool mostly.
Okay.
We have a lot of sheep in Australia. Like actually more, like there's a running joke of New Zealand has like, do you know that joke? Maybe it's not worldwide known. Just like that New Zealand people love their sheep. But there's actually more sheep in Australia. Anyway.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so you start with the wool roving and you just pull little like tufts of it, and you'll be able to see that in a few of my pieces. A lot of the pieces, like I just love it. It's so soft and beautiful that I really like to show that in my work as I love creating that textural element, like kind of jumping off the page. And
I think we got it.
Yeah. So that that gold, that's actually viscose, which is a bamboo fiber. And that's really fun because when I actually felt that with water, when it dries, it looks still kind of wet and shiny. It's really cool. So I just grab a lot of these tufts of wool roving and lay them all out. And you have to have quite a few layers, and you're crisscrossing as you go.
Yeah.
And then you put warm soapy water all over it, and the soap helps the like oils in the fiber to kind of come out and helps them join together. And then the part that I hate that I'm like trying to outsource, I'm actually Googling wet felting rolling machines, because you have to roll the felt like 400 times.
Really?
And it's just a bit tedious. Like I'm not really an exerciser. So I don't love that part. But so you're just rolling it. You're just making the fibers connect and come together.
Right.
Yeah.
And is that like so I know just from my limited experience, like some of the needle, like when you're making kind of like the 3D animals, you'll kind of make a rough shape and then just stab it with needles forever. And it like slowly gets denser and denser. Is that the same kind of thing that's happening when you're rolling it?
Yeah, exactly. So I'll start out with something, they usually shrink about a third in size. So after all the rolling, and you have to like switch it because it'll start to shrink too much that way, and the back will start to mess up and stuff. So you just have to flip it and roll. Yeah, it's just not really fun.
Right.
I wouldn't recommend it. No,
it's like an unfortunate middle process to get where you got to go.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Because like, if I could, I would probably make a new piece of felt every day. The laying out the fibers and like selecting colors to go together, because they're just the most beautiful colors. Like you can have like, look, I just picked up 3 random colors and they're beautiful together. And then I have quite a lot of these gorgeous ones where someone else dyes my felt. I don't dye my own felt. I don't have time for that. But like this is like one piece of wool roving, but it's got the various colors.
Yeah.
Through. Yeah.
So I'm again, I think I just got like a pre-made package where it was already colored. So you're getting raw wool and having someone color it?
No. So like
okay. Sorry. I was just...
Yeah, no, I'm the same. Like well, actually people have sent me raw wool. I have a few bags of it, but I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Neighbor down the road, we borrow their alpaca to eat our backyard, and they shaved him recently and sent him up with a bag of wool. I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. Like I work with wool, but
yeah. You gotta
I try and buy all of my wool locally. So yeah, I don't get it hand dyed for me, but I'd like to do that in future.
Spoo in the chat caught something. I that I didn't quite hear at first, because you're saying that, you know, when someone else dies, and immediately, yeah, I thought the same thing as Spoo. I'm like, oh, it's like an estate sale. Someone's died, and she's like going to estate sales and gathering wool.
No one dies in this process. No animals are harmed.
Well, somebody has to die.
People are harmed.
Somebody has to dye the wool. Somebody has to die in this process. It's just not you.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so you've got the dyed wool. You got all these beautiful colors. You're doing. What happens after the rolling part of the process?
Well, so then it has to dry, and often, like you'll see, I take lots of pictures as I do the process. They're actually some of my favorite artworks. I think it's so beautiful with seeing the little sparkly bubbles of the soap on the wool, and like how it, because lots of people, like, I don't use any fancy felting tools. So I just like get a bowl of soapy water and use my hand to like splash it on. There's little like water silicone bubble things that you can get. They're like $200 for a little sprayer, you know. So but the way that because I splash it on like that and it pools in different areas, it creates this look, and I just think it's so pretty. So I take a lot of photos like as I go, and the felt is rolled between sheets of bubble wrap, because the bubble wrap, because it's not smooth, it helps the textures to come together. So that's a few of my artworks look kind of like honeycomb. I'm giving away a big secret here. No. If any of my process videos that I sometimes post, if you look, you can see I'm using bubble wrap, but it looks like this beautiful like honeycomb pattern. I just pulled it off one day and was like, oh my God, that's beautiful. Like it was on this one, I can't remember what I called it. Maybe I called it honeycomb, but this orange piece, and it just looked, so like I just love the way it details, and like for me it just creates a whole different artwork. Every step of the process is a really different meaning for me, and a look.
That's really cool that you got the texture that way. Like I was going to ask you about the texture in some of these, and what you were doing to get that, but it's a part of the actual process already.
So this is the felt. It's still wet, and it would have been like probably just after I'd flattened it, and then I actually use it's so I can't think of the word, but you know, everything's just like a random object. So I use a pool noodle. Like I got a pool noodle and I cut it, and that's what I use to wrap my felt around, and I use it to like roll the felt. So this would have been just after I'd rolled it all together, but haven't felted it at all. Okay, if that makes sense. So that's still like wet, and the colors are much deeper. It's really fascinating how much the colors change as it dries.
BFL on Crypto says that it makes sense. It brings out a very different dynamic with that texturing. For sure. So it dries. You've got this kind of texture, and then what comes next? Then you start stabbing it. No, none of these. Like they all just come together. Okay. So I've only got a few needle felted artworks. I don't do much needle felting anymore. Oh, okay. So when when a person works with felt, you mentioned that this was like wet felting, but I just kind of assume that they all involve stabbing violently, and that you have to be like a certain kind of person. Oh, it's very fun. It's super therapeutic. Like I wouldn't recommend it for children under 5. Right. I barely recommend it for myself. at my age. So
yeah, I don't do the 3D forms very much because I do like when I do those little animals, and there's actually an artist on Hen who does them and does little animated videos of her needle felted work. I can't do them. Like I can't get the shapes right. I stab myself all the time because you have to hold it and stab through. When I do my needle felting work, I get like a piece of pre-made felt, and then I like stab the wool roving in on top of that. So I make like a flat artwork.
Right. Okay.
I never do the 3D stuff. I just get my fingers get murdered.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
But
the flat is so satisfying.
Yeah.
It's great. Just
So a piece like this one, the Valley, after is it the result, the final image, is it the result of once everything rolls out and starts to dry, like it's tangled and that's the piece?
Yeah. So so this piece that was purely wet felted. And I made this piece. Sometimes I make my pieces, and like I said, I don't love the rolling process, so I'll leave them a little less felted because it doesn't really make a huge difference to the final artwork digitally. But sometimes I sell my pieces with the physical artwork, so I want to make sure that the finished piece is perfect. So this piece was a commission piece where they got the physical artwork as well. So yeah, that one's actually like the actual artwork is probably, I don't know, that can you see that?
Oh yeah, you're close. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, they're generally they all end up about the same size. So about that big. Can you see that?
Oh yeah. Oh, that's so cool to see it. Yeah. Wow.
So they're all kind of like that. Sometimes a little bit bigger, or sometimes a little bit smaller. I ran out of wool for a while we were in lockdown about 3 months ago, and that sucked because I had to make really tiny artworks because I had like just the bare bones of wool. But yeah, so this piece, I just I get the dry final piece of felt, and then I take a lot of photographs, and I find the one that like represents what I want to show the most, and then I animate it, which is my little animation secret.
The animation, I think, just like caps the whole thing off. Like the pieces themselves unanimated are really awesome. I love that it has like it takes it from texture and color and form, and it gives it this landscape kind of thing that just I think was one of the first things to strike me about, like, I was like, wow, this is so interesting. And yeah, it just adds a different dimension to the pieces. Not to say that the unanimated ones are not fantastic, but that's just like one of those things that really very satisfying.
They're definitely more popular. I think well, like I try and do maybe slightly larger editions for the non-animated ones. But the animated ones I think give well, because when I do the animation, I purposefully do very slow movement. I really want them to be calming. Like I want my art to be like a respite from the world for a moment, and I think that animation really adds that element. You know, like you can look at the other ones and they're beautiful to look at, but the animation like takes you into the artwork a bit more for that moment to just like observe it and maybe like feel part of it a bit more, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's how I feel when I look at it.
Yeah, absolutely. NFT Raider is wondering if you have ever tried stop motion.
I haven't. I actually am thinking, because I used to do a bit of embroidery as well, and recently like I really want to like keep trying new things and keep pushing and progressing. So I've started doing embroidery, and I thought like a stop motion of like embroidery growing or something on the felt, like a city growing, could be cool. So I think I'll try it soon. Cool. You got any tips? You can DM me. I don't know how to do it.
Absolutely, right? Yeah, NFT Raider.
Yeah.
DM Rose if you've got any tips. Also, the textile is so cool, and you're one of the few artists that I've seen working with it. And then you mentioned the stop animation embroidery, and there's another artist, Hugh Messi.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's doing exactly, but it blows my mind a little bit.
Yeah, he's like on another level. Like,
right.
It's amazing. So I'm pretty sure, actually, his website is really, really great for like explaining his process. He's got it really detailed there. But he uses like a computerized sewing machine to do the embroidery, and like I'm not sure how he generates the patterns and stuff, but it's incredible. I always miss them. I get like his huge editions and that's it. But he's a great collector of mine. Like textile artists stick together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you know, it maybe like you said, you know, having like cities growing on the on these images, and also I have a friend. She's not she hasn't been brought into the crypto art realm yet, but she does some amazing stuff with words and textiles. And cool. She doesn't consider herself a writer, but she likes to use words as art, and she's done a lot of stuff with textiles, and so, you know, being already like an undercover writer, you know, that might be you know, maybe splashing that element into it would either way, whatever you do is going to be, I mean, fantastic. I'm excited.
It's taken me a long time to even like embrace the title of artist. So I don't think I'll add writer to it yet, but we'll see.
That's fair.
You should just get her on hand. She can take that role. Yeah.
right. What do you do? So I'm just curious, because I think that I know I've had a similar hang up actually with kind of embracing that title of like, yes, I'm an artist. Do you mind talking a little bit about maybe like what reservation you had initially being able to kind of like identify to other people like, yes, I'm an artist, and kind of what that step was where you were like, all right, like, you know what? I'm not holding back. I'm an artist. Like,
well, I think I've embraced it in an online sense. So I feel really comfortable. And part of, I think what helped, I was part of the first cohort of the vertical crypto art residency. And we had to do a few like practices of writing kind of, not an artist statement, but like bios and kind of exploring who we want to be in this space and what we want to represent and stuff like that. So I feel really comfortable now doing videos for various things and saying, hi, I'm a textile artist, and, you know, that kind of thing. Yeah. In my real life, my offline, this is my real life. In my offline life, I would still very much struggle to say, like, for me, they're really separate my artist friends have their work like in galleries, and, you know, are known in the community as an artist. Whereas I think that I haven't quite internalized that NFT art is artists. Like I am, but I just can't express it in my my friend circles and stuff. They don't get it. They just don't get it. So I don't really even try. But in terms of doing it in the online world, like I just had to have a bit of a stern talking to myself, like why? Like why couldn't I be? Compared to everyone else here, I am just as much. We all are. Like it doesn't matter what you do. Like I said, making the cakes, that to me, that's an art. You know, that was me expressing through baking art.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I think it's, I kind of asked because I think a lot of people struggle with that, like feeling like, I mean, even just going into like a new field, like switching careers or, it's a similar thing where people struggle with that, like imposter syndrome.
Yeah, for sure.
And feeling like, well, you know, I'm not that kind of artist. Like I can do some stuff, but you know, there's definitely you know, there's like a high level of respect for art and artists and what creative people do. And then feeling like, yeah, I'll get there one day, but I'm not trying to come in here saying like I'm some, you know.
Yeah, my partner's from England, and he's got like major hang-ups around being called an artist. And like to me, he's the epitome of an artist. He does very realistic, beautiful portraits, and like that's about as fine arty to me as you get. But if I called him an artist, he would be really like, nope, you know, this is a hobby.
Right.
But I think what was hard for me particularly was coming into a digital space with a physical medium. Like that was my biggest imposter syndrome. Like there's all these amazing generative artists and glitch artists, and like, do I belong here kind of thing? So it's really just like letting that go and just like, if the community can embrace me and enjoy my art, like why can't I?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. That's great.
There's a duck going crazy outside, sorry. It's a bit distracting.
No worries. At least it's quacking you up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I go for the low liars.
Dad joke central.
Exactly. You can always bet on a good dad joke here. And okay, so so you mentioned the photography. I don't want to overlook that. I know that you mentioned that you have a limited window today. You've got a lot to do. You're a busy woman. But I do want to make sure I touch on your photography. And also, I'd love to share your daughter's photography as well, if that's okay. Let me switch over here. Because I was looking at the photos and I was really excited. One second.
I don't promote them very much. Like it's kind of I'm one of those people, like I just constantly have to be doing something, or I don't know. So I like to have my many projects going. Yeah.
Spoo said the benefits of imposter syndrome: when someone asks me what I do, I can always say imposter.
It's good.
That's
I'm a felt imposter.
Right. So you've been taking photos for a long time. That's something that you've always enjoyed doing.
Yeah, definitely different subject matters, but always taking photos.
Yes, I really love these, especially like the color in this is so beautiful. What are these plants?
Well, that's just the bush in Australia. So that's just some native trees, but that's after a hazard reduction burn has gone through. So it's like a lower heat burn in preparation for the fire season coming. So the trees don't burn, they just all get burnt.
Right.
Yeah, like, so they don't go black. Yeah, just the kind of fire comes through more gently. We get, like, the Blue Mountains is probably one of the highest fire prone areas of Australia. So we get, you know, like, I just grew up with bushfire as kind of a normal thing. And I have, like, I just wanted to kind of show through these photos, like, the non-traumatic side of bushfire.
Right.
Ones, I think.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. I'm just having a quick. Hold on. I'll find the keys. I look everywhere. But you know me, I said, I'll find them. Have a good day at work. Okay. All right.
Just catching up on the comments.
Oh yeah. The red tops on these bushes, is that like the regrowth? Is that coming back, or it's just?
No, that's like, this is like a day or two after the hazard reduction burn has gone through.
Okay.
So I uploaded a bunch of photos. Like, a few of them are after the hazard reduction burn, like, so they're all kind of in the same place, and a few of them are after our Black Summer that we had a few years ago.
Right.
Which was, like, just, horrific. So that was, like, the really, you know, everything is just black and gone. Or I think, there's one there that it was kind of whitish. That's how it looks normally.
Okay. Right.
There's no bushfires going through. But yeah, like, these photos, like, this is just you know, the town over or on my street, or at the end of my street. Like, so the Blue Mountains is like national park, and so if I walk down to the end of my street, it's just like bush for kilometers and miles and miles and miles of bush, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So it's a really beautiful place to live. It really, I think that's probably the biggest impact on my work, both photography and my felt. Like, just in the last few years, I came back here. So I was living in Melbourne when my daughter was little, and then we came back to the Blue Mountains to have my second child and, like, you know, be adult and settle down and like, stay in one place. I'm not very good at. But yeah, like, being here and finally kind of being a bit stable, and I'm gotten really into gardening and just realizing the importance of nature. Really, a lot of my work is kind of around that, like, how we can stay connected to this kind of offline natural world, whilst being in the digital one, if that makes sense.
Right, because that's an interesting dynamic, because you are coming from a background that's so steeped in travel and so steeped in outdoor activity, and to find yourself, you know, being online and sharing all this work, like you said, it's really time consuming, and it's important finding balance, I guess. And so it sounds like you're doing that, and also encouraging others too.
Yeah, well, I'm trying. Like, I'm definitely better at it than the first few months. The first few months was just like tunnel vision. Like, well, it's so exciting. Like, it's just the most exciting, like, party, you know?
Yeah, no, it really is.
It's just like, because I think I came in around April, and so like there was still quite a lot of people, but it felt really small and really like, yeah, I don't know,
Yeah.
a bit different. Like I still am loving it, but that first few months was just like super close friendships were forged and everyone was just having the time of their lives. We could just mint
Right.
whatever, didn't cost
Right.
anything. Yeah.
And it's crazy because like now it reminds me of one of those kind of like top down games where you're seeing like the little guy like and they've got a tiny circle around them and they have to find the flashlight in order to like open up like a bigger field of view, and they're in a maze. So it's like I thought I knew the room that I was in, and like I thought I knew all the corners, and then I'll find a flashlight, and it's like there's this whole other like branch of the community that I didn't know about, and I'm like, oh wait, well I mean now I know. Okay, I gotta like follow and see what's going on, and like hey, like what's up, like what's going? It's wild. There's
and it's just getting like bigger and bigger and bigger. Like it's exploding, which is super exciting, but like for me, I just kind of reached a point where it was really hard to keep up with everything that was happening and maintain my life, you know, like looking after children. Like my son is still at home all the time. He's not here right now, thank goodness. But you know, like so most of the time I'm making felt like he's there pulling bits off or adding extra bits or you know like and now we got a kitten. I don't know what I was thinking. but yeah, there was just a definite point where it was my balance was lacking, so I've come back into that kind of just pulling out of the online world a little bit more. And,
right, because I think you know as people we can only do so much, right? Like there's no, and at least my perception of like the Twitterverse and everything is like I swear people are on there 24 hours a day if they're successful, and it gets into your head like that's what I have to do to be successful, and that's that can be a very unhealthy paradigm. So it's like you either like break and it's done, or you have to you got to find that balance, I guess.
I think I started to a few months ago see Twitter as more part of my job, whereas before like I would be up, you know, like it's part of the problem is being in stupid Australia. I have to stay up till like 1 a.m. to actually have conversations with people. So I was just like staying up really late and like a lot of talking, which was great at the time, like making friends, but I've had to like kind of pull back from that and just have kind of more allocated Twitter times rather than early nights. Sleep is so important, everyone. Sleep is so important. Like, it doesn't take long to kind of burn out if you're not sleeping well.
Absolutely. So, and real quick, I guess, let me share. So we've seen your photography and it's beautiful. You can definitely, I can definitely draw like a parallel between kind of that nature focus and your felt work. But you also, your daughter also, well, you've got a couple other projects too.
The GAN stuff is I'm really enjoying. I think making GANs and starting to explore that was really one of the points where I stopped having as much imposter syndrome. I was like, okay, like
it looks like it was a collaboration.
That's my GAN page. The last few on there were a collaboration.
Oh, okay.
But the first, I don't know how many I'm into, 50? I think I'm into quite a lot. They were all my explorations of so I put all of my photographs from like a few of my different felt works, and I make a data set from that and input it, and these crazy things come out, which I just love. I'm really excited to explore it more because like you can see the texture of the felt, but it's got that beautiful GAN thing where it's like a little unsettling. It doesn't have the same vibe as my other work, you know, which I want to be like, just like I said, beautiful and calming. And this is like a little bit more like what's going on there, which I find fun. I like to have different styles, make people feel different things.
Yeah, like this one in particular, you can see the similar textures, but at the same time it's like salmon skin or you know, some kind of like some like cold reptilian action happening here.
And so many of them turn out really landscape-esque as well, you know, like kind of mountain and valley forms. And I just love that they follow my textile work in doing that, like naturally, like the computer does that. I find the whole thing so crazy. I watch a lot of coding train videos. I'd love to learn to properly code one day.
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of time.
Yeah, that's a good reminder. I forget that. Yeah.
Right?
Everything must be done now.
Right? And I think we were talking about it. I was talking about it with somebody the other day, and it's like we live a lot of different lives in a lifetime. Like when you go out into the real world, like you were talking about, or you know, like your daily, day-to-day, face-to-face life. You know, depending on who you run into, you know, they might have known you, you know, only from, you know, backpacking and hostel stays, whereas you might run into someone else who knows you, you know, from, you know, your felt work only, or your play group. So it's interesting, and it's not just the people that perceive us that way. Like we perceive ourselves in those different timelines and those different groups. So
definitely.
So, you know, that coding chapter, you've already started to write it. It's just, you know, eventually,
I can take my time with writing it.
And for people who aren't familiar with what GAN is, can you just give a quick description of kind of what is happening again? You said...
I'm the worst to describe it, but like, because I'm still wrapping my brain around it, to be honest. But so for my GANs, I use... a website called Playform, and I input a data set of all my photos of that I've taken during my process of felt making. I don't use too many of like the finished product. It's mainly when the wool roving is like still fluffy and soft. And then you basically like give it all to the computer. This is how I see it, and I apologize.
That's I'd rather the more broken down. Well,
it's like for me, what it feels like is I just give all of that information to the computer, the program. The program on the computer, and it basically kind of reads them all and learns from it, and it goes through all these stages of learning, and it learns like the colors and the textures and the forms, and then it outputs its learnings. That's my interpretation.
And when you said data set, you're uploading images basically, and it's looking at those images.
Yeah. So like you could put in a whole bunch of portraits. You know, you see those GANs where it's like a face and then it kind of melds into different faces and stuff. So all of those pictures that were first put in is the data set. So I just put in my felt, actually more the wool than the felt. The felt is the finished product.
It's really neat. I think one really cool thing about kind of this community is that there is a lot of crossover. Like you can there was a lot of generative art that I had no clue existed,
same.
or I'd recognize it maybe as something digital, but that's about it. And then you start to learn more about like what goes into it, and it makes you want to try, it wants to try to try stuff, and it's neat to be able to have such a wide variety of influences going between artists, and discovering photography maybe as a painter, or discovering coding as a felt textile artist, and or discovering poetry from starting out coding, or there's just so much. There's not a lot of rules right now, and that makes for a good mix up for
definitely.
the future.
There's not a lot of rules, and there's a lot of inspiration. I'm just constantly inspired by what other people are creating every day. Like, oh, that looks beautiful. I want to incorporate that in some way. Or, it's so fun.
Excellent. So, and then one last thing, or a couple quick things. I want to share your daughter's photos, because she needs more Tez in her wallet.
I actually have, I think, some more Polaroids arriving for her today, because well, I'll let you bring them up, and then I'll explain them maybe. Are you still there?
There I am. I'm back.
Okay.
I got hanging. every once in a while I've got to try and open a window from this window, and it screws everything up. But everything's fine now. Okay, let me pull this up. You've got Polaroids coming for her, you said.
Yeah. So I bought her a new batch of Polaroids. She has this little little Polaroid camera we got a few years ago, that she just claimed as her own. Nice. And the Polaroids, like the actual film, are really expensive. So I was a bit more strict with letting her use it. Like, I wouldn't let her use it very often. But the blessing of NFTs is, like, we actually, for the first time in a very long time, have a bit of money. And so I just gave her the camera, and she went to my dad's for the weekend. These were all taken last weekend.
Nice.
And she went to my dad's for the weekend. Excuse me. And I gave her the whole batch of film and the camera, and she came back with these masterpieces. She's so funny. Like, she just cracks me up. And it's been so beautiful for me to, like, see what she sees. Yeah. Like, what's important to her, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And it's so cool.
we do these sunprint things as well.
I was going to say,
I should get another kit of them. They're really fun.
Cyanotype, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That color blue is so neat.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Man.
And she likes doing a lot of watercolors. I should upload. We have like hundreds of her watercolors in the house.
Nice.
She's like a next level to me, and just is constantly making things. Like this morning before school, she had half an hour, and she still wasn't fully ready. And she went into, like, we've got like a fabric drawer where I just put random bits of fabric that I pretend I'm going to do something with one day.
Yeah.
And she just went in and she starts cutting it all up, and she said she's going to pick all the lavender from the garden and dry it and make like little lavender sachets. And, like, I don't know what her plan is or where she got that idea, but she's just always around the house. Where's the sticky tape? Where's the scissors? Where's my pencils? Like, she's creating all the time, which is brilliant. Like, I want to encourage it.
Yeah.
But it drives me freaking crazy. Like, I just want her to chill out and watch TV sometimes. But so I'm excited about the Polaroids, because that's something that I can be, like, uninvolved in. She can just go and do her thing, hopefully.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of other projects I have to be involved.
BFL on crypto said, that's amazing to see. So glad your daughter has the opportunity to share her visions.
Yeah, me too. Like it wouldn't happen anywhere else. Would
Yeah.
it? Like, where am I gonna share her Polaroids? Maybe on my Instagram or something like that. But
right.
Yeah, it's incredible. Like, and
well,
the fact that she's making a savings account from it is really exciting.
Yeah, I was thinking about this too. We don't, I mean, as far as I know, still, like money management and stuff isn't taught in schools.
Yeah.
And we kind of get taken advantage of real quick right out of school, like for our ignorance of it. And I think, I mean, with crypto, like you really have to be responsible for that money, and to be growing up in a world where crypto has always been there, maybe is going to give people those experiences and that education that to make better decisions in the future.
Yeah,
or to make more conscious bad decisions,
Well, I guess, yeah, like you're making the decision. It's not a big bank making the decision.
Right.
You know, but I really I'm pretty in love with crypto and really excited for what it can do for the world. Like, not just NFTs.
Yeah.
Well, not just crypto art. I try and really make that distinction, because NFTs, in my opinion, will become everything.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just find it really exciting. I think it's all just going to keep going up, and there'll be really great opportunities for things like loans. There already is. My partner tells me, and it kind of goes over my head, but like loans based off liquidity pools. And if my kids never have to get a credit card, that would be amazing.
Right.
Credit cards are horrible. I was there saying, like, as soon as I was 18, the bank's like, oh my God, here's a credit card. Like, you have a part-time job. Like, I've been in debt my whole life because of that kind of pushing. So yeah, if I can save my children from debt and give them a creative outlet, and financial education, because like you said, like I wasn't ever taught how to save or manage money. If I had a job that paid more, I'd just spend more.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I do, like I said, I know you've taken early time out of your day to be here, and I really appreciate it. Did we have possible to give away a little something for one of our viewers?
Yeah. Which one did I send you again?
I'm not 100% sure. I forgot to look before the show.
Okay. Hang on. I've got my computer open.
If you've been in the chat, or if you're just watching, drop a quick comment in the chat with your Tezos address, and Rose we're gonna raffle off a piece to one of you lucky peoples for joining us today.
All right, I've just got to move my phone. Yeah, so it's an edition of Process 2, which is one of my more recent ones. I could probably be clever and put it in the comment box, but I'm not that.
Here we go. I'm gonna find it. Process 2. I think it's
exactly that. Yeah, so an edition of that. And how many people are there in the chat?
There were, I think, 5 comments so far. It shows 7 viewers watching at the moment.
Cool. Well, I'll give away, if anyone wants an edition of, I've been experimenting with scanning my artworks as well.
Oh.
So I've got one called Desert Scan, which I love. I think it's really cool. The way that the scan shows the felt, it has that same kind of distorted thing as the GAN. There's just something about it that's a bit unsettling. But I'll give away an edition of that as well.
Oh, awesome. All right.
I'm taking
it right.
Terrible businesswoman. Take it. You have an NFT. You have an NFT.
That's right. Look under your seat. Yeah, that would be a trip if one day we wake up and Oprah's giving away NFTs.
I would not be surprised. Like, genuinely, she'll be the next. Tag all the women that you know, NFT makers.
That's right.
I definitely think that women need more visibility in this space. Like, I saw recent stats that there's like 8 women in the top 100.
I think I saw something like that.
Yeah, I was looking for it again and I couldn't find it. But like those tag threads, I don't know. I don't think it's the best way to do it. Like, Reese Witherspoon is not reading them.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe she is. But yeah.
Awesome. So we got four names from the chat. We got 4 addresses from the chat, and we can do a quick giveaway. We'll have to do it after the show.
Sure.
So I can throw it in a random generator and all that good stuff. And yeah. And we'll get it.
No worries. Am I allowed to give something to everyone?
Absolutely, 100%. You're not limited to just one. We appreciate anything you're willing to share, of course.
Well, my hen page isn't loading for me, but I've got a few of my what was the last event we just had?
Hen 500.
Yeah, so I've got a few of them. I'll give to. Maybe if you want, I don't know, if you want to like raffle off the, because I think this is the lowest edition.
Okay, so
Scan, yeah, like
so Process 2 and Desert Scan, we can do a raffle for.
Sure.
And then the 500K we can just send out to all our viewers.
Sure.
Awesome. Oh, that's so cool. Okay, you know what? Actually, I think I have. Oh, here we go. I've got random name picker here. We can just do. Okay, good, and we can just get it done. Okay. So we got Raider in the chat. Oh, separate that by a comma. We got Sane Genre. We got Spoo and BFL. Oh, BFL. OU. BFlu. Okay. All right. Here we go. That should be everybody. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to shuffle those names. Shuffle those names. Shuffle those names. We're going to have one winner. We're going to show random names and pick a random name. Start. Yes. Raider.tez is going to get an edition of... Wait, what?
Process 2.
Process 2. Wait. Oh, it's still changing it. What's it? Oh, it's... Oh, my goodness. Okay, wait a second. Do I have to tap on it maybe? Pick a random name. Oh, there we go. I didn't realize what was happening. It was simply going through its choices and taking its time. BFLOU. BFL on crypto. You win Process 2. I think my internet was hanging up. It was just slowly cycling. So Raider.
So bad.
Raider, we're gonna see what we can do. All right, here we go. Let's do another one. Let's pick another name. Remove names from the list. I better remove that name from the list manually. Okay, let's shuffle the names again. We got 3 left. All right. let's do a different anime. No, let's just, okay. We know how it works now.
Am I still there? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, you're good. You're good.
I closed the window. Sorry, I can't hear.
No, you're okay.
I closed the window and now I can't hear. You just keep doing your thing.
Okay. Raider, you won this time. This time for real. Perfect. Okay, Raider and BF, you guys win. Raider, you get the desert scan, and that's going to be that. And then everybody's going to get an edition of the 500K edition piece that Rose did. So
can you hear me?
I can hear you. Okay. Yeah.
Congrats, Raider.
Yes. Thank you all for playing. Rose still can't hear anything, I don't think.
Okay, I'm gonna leave.
So she's gonna leave. You guys are awesome, and Rose, thank you so much for coming on. I hope you can hear me now from wherever you're at. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Hey.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got BFLO on and blah, blah, blah. B, you won. Process 2. Desert Scan was won by Raider after all.
Nice.
Same genre, Spoo, and the other 2 will also be getting an edition of the 500K from you. And so everybody said thank you so much in the chat and sharing this space with us. We really appreciate you. And I hope to have you on again sometime, and keep in touch.
Yeah, when I'm like coding, I'll come on and explain that.
Yeah, absolutely.
No. There are so many amazing generative artists out there. I'll let them do. My imposter syndrome's like on the other way.
Right.
I'll just explain every type of digital art to you now. I'm an expert.
That's right. We're just gonna have you on every show to do a technical breakdown of everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be great. If you if you have anybody that you'd like to see on the show or hear from, send them our way, and we'd love to have them on.
Sure, I will.
Including your partner.
Oh no, he's like
even if it's a hobby, that's okay.
He just he's not super chatty. I'm the chatty one, and it's why he like struggles. It is really hard. He struggles with like social media, and so he doesn't really get eyes on his work, because he's just. But like you said before, that you're not successful unless you're on Twitter all the time. I don't think that's true, but I definitely think that a portion of my success has been being so active on Twitter.
Right.
And it's really hard, because he'll post and not get any engagement and then get a little bit disillusioned from that. Is that the right word? You know what I mean?
Do you have is there a hen link to that?
To him? Yeah, I can. Yeah. I can send it in the. No, I'm scared if I close the window again, I won't be able to hear anything.
In the private chat, you can send it over. I could, you know what? You can send it to the private chat. I'll go ahead and let you go. I'll just take you out of the live feed part, so you'll still be in the blue room or whatever.
Okay.
And you'll be backstage, and you can type it in the comments, and I'll share it.
Okay. I will try and find his link.
Awesome. Thank you again so much. Again, it was fun chatting with you.
Yeah, super fun. Thanks for changing the time for me.
Absolutely. No problem at all.
Zone appreciates it.
No worries. All right. Thank you so much. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right.
Bye. Have a good afternoon.
Thank you. You too. All right, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out. Let's say that again. And y'all rock. This has been a lot of fun. So I hope everybody's having a wonderful afternoon, evening, early morning, late night, twilight. And next week, shoot, I should be able to tell you. Next week we've got Purs coming on the show, and Purs is going to drop some tunes for us, and and talk about his work. That's P-U-R-Z. So I'm excited to bring him on and get to share some of his drum and bass, dubsteppy, wobble goodness here. So tune in then, and we'll get those NFTs over to you. And thank you for tuning in. Peace out. Peace, love, NFTs, and all that. Oh, and I just got in the chat here the thing that we were waiting for. So, oh yeah. Oh, these are really nice. Okay, you got it. I'll share this real quick with y'all. Oh, come on. Mike stuff here. Perfect. Thank you, Rose. Rose sent this over. Share it with all the channels here. Beautiful. So I just dropped the link to her partner's work. It's beautiful stuff. So maybe we'll convince him to get on here someday anyway. But go take a look. And sharing is caring. Talk to y'all soon. And yeah, again, thank you so much. All right. Yeah, they are nice. All right. Peace, y'all. Have a good night.